Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out, episode 364. Hope you're all doing fantastic today, and wishing my Jewish friends, my Jewish listeners, a happy new year, and hoping for a peaceful one too, of course, with everything going on in the Middle East. And hey, even here on this side of the pond, you know, I love X or Twitter, but it's become so toxic. I swear my blood pressure rises when I scroll through my feed. At least it gives you real-time news and views, even though I don't agree with a lot of them. Are you on X, or have you moved on to the friendlier Threads? Well, I'm on both platforms, and others, of course, like Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube. So be sure to reach out and say hi. Let me know where you're tuning into Tech It Out from, if it's on your local talk radio station or in podcast form. And yeah, go ahead and ask tech questions if you've got them. I'm also open to suggestions, of course, for upcoming guests or topics on the show. What you don't like, it's all good. So we do have a great Tech It Out plan for you today, if I may say so myself. We'll kick things off with a new robotic lawnmower from Segway. Yes, the people mover. And so we'll hear what's new and newsworthy with that new robotic device. After that, tech expert Carley Knobloch has some family ideas for the fall. Later on in the show, I'll share some small business solutions to keeping your small business lean and competitive and profitable. And Samsung Mobile will stop by this hour with some news about new devices powered by AI, artificial intelligence, and what they can do for you in plain English. And so a very busy Tech It Out for you this hour, powered by Intel Core Ultra PCs, Series 2, which I'll tell you more about shortly. But let's officially kick off a brand new Tech It Out with our first interview. You likely know Segway as a high-tech people mover, but the company has released its latest robotic lawnmower, the Navimow Series, which can automatically cut and maintain your lawn for you. So what's new with the Segway Navimow, and how does it differ from other robotic lawnmowers in the market? We're joined by Wayne Kreifels. He's head of sales for North America. Hey Wayne, thanks for your time today. Good to chat with you.
Hi Mark, happy to be here.
So before we talk about Segway Navimow, let's first talk a bit about this space, maybe more of a high level. What are robotic lawnmowers exactly, and how big is this space?
Yeah, so this, the space overall with outdoor power equipment, it's about a $35 billion industry, and it's kind of slated to grow to about $62 billion by the end of 2034. And it's mostly because of technologies being integrated in the outdoor power space, such as robots and battery-powered equipment. And also, they're seeing a big trend in popularity of gardening and other outdoor activities is kind of why this is growing. So robotic mowers is really to replace your push mower or your zero turn that you're currently using.
Okay, so as the name suggests, this is a device probably not unlike a Roomba would vacuum your carpet or your hardwood floors or tile for you. This autonomously will drive around your lawn and cut your grass. But the key difference between one of these and, say, a push mower, as you called it, or a rideable mower or whatever, is that it gives it more of a trim than a haircut. Is that fair? It's an electric motor, so it's quiet, which is another benefit, is that you can have it cut your grass day and night. But it leaves that cut grass on top of the lawn to act sort of as a fertilizer.
Yeah, robotically mowing, we're typically mowing only once a week traditionally. With robotic mowing, you're out there mowing your property, 3, 4, 5 times a week, just depending on where you're at and how much rain we're getting. But it cuts a little bit off at a time, so it's way more healthy for your lawn. You're watering less, you're fertilizing less, you're also less susceptible to any diseases. So the clippings are extremely small compared to what we traditionally see today. Correct.
Yep. Okay, good. So again, no bag that's holding these grass clippings that you need to dispose of later on. It leaves it on top of the lawn. That's what you would expect from any robotic lawnmower out there. So I will ask you in a moment what would separate the Navimow series from the other players. But let's talk about Navimow. So this is from the company Segway that no doubt my listeners have heard of. Tell us about the company and your most recent release. This is the I series robotic lawnmowers?
Yes, the I Series. So we our first generation was called the H Series, which released in 2020, and now we're on the I Series that we released in 2023, and then we're slated to release another one here next month in October, called the X Series.
Oh, cool.
So this I Series is really geared towards the DIY homeowner. Very intuitive robot, highly intelligent with AI on it. And the app is probably one of the most user-friendly apps I think you could ever dive into.
Before we talk about the tech and if you need to use a ground wire like some other companies have, or maybe it relies on GPS or vision, we'll get to that. But the I-Series robot lawnmowers, is this more for larger properties or smaller properties? I know you call it DIY, meaning those who would cut their own grass rather than hire a gardener.
Correct. These are designed for quarter-acre lots and less on the I-Series.
Okay. And what about slopes and obstacles, things where you don't want the robot to go into, like let's say a garden or something like that? Are there boundary wires, or how does that work?
No wires. It is all GPS and vision guided.
Same with keeping it on your property. Let's say there's no fence and your lawn goes right to the sidewalk. You don't want it to go onto the sidewalk or maybe onto your neighbor's property if there's no fence, which might be the case on a front yard. So you set that in the app where it should not go?
Yep, you'll virtually set a boundary for the robotic mower. So you're setting a virtual fence for it to follow.
Can you tell us a bit more about the fact that no ground wire is required? So I know with some other companies, some of their models at the very least require someone to professionally install a cable or a wire above or just below the ground, and it will keep that mower on the property. But that's not how yours works. It does work with line of sight to GPS satellites above the earth.
You got it.
We're chatting with Wayne Kreifels. He's head of sales for North America at Segway Navimow. That's Navimow, like mow the lawn. They have the I-Series robotic lawnmower and soon the X Series, and previously the H Series. So these will suit different budgets and lawn sizes. The Navimow I-Series is for small to medium-sized lawns, and so does not require a ground wire, as you said. It's so theoretically easier to set up. I haven't tried it myself, but do you use the app to draw where it should be, or how do you first initiate it? Because your lawn probably does not change over time, so you only need once to identify the areas you want it to cut and where you don't want it to go?
Yeah, so you'll pair to the robot, and then you'll drive the robot around your property. And as you're driving it, it is virtually putting in the fence around your property. And then if there's a keep out zone, such as a flower bed or anything like that, you'll drive it right around the flower bed and designate that as a keep out zone. And you store the map. The map is always stored on your app and on your robot. So when you task it to go out, it knows exactly where to mow. And it also knows if you want to change directions of your mowing. So it never mows the same pattern twice.
Does it leave a pattern on the grass, or it's random?
No, it does stripe. So about every fourth or fifth time, it'll change its pattern. So you never have any wear marks in your property.
Are there safety features built in? Like, let's say it runs into, a child is there. Are the blades protected? Or what if it hits a toy or a garden gnome or something? Does it turn around, or what would happen?
Yeah, 100%. So it does have vision on it. So if an animal or a child jumps out in front of it, it immediately shuts down. Or if somebody just walks by and grabs it, the blades immediately stop. There is really no chance to ever get cut. And yeah, unlike traditional mowers, they're not big, heavy steel blades. They're tiny little razor blades underneath it that cuts the grass.
All right. Speaking of if somebody picks it up, let's say you have a jealous neighbor who would like this for themselves.
Yeah.
Are there any anti-theft technologies built in?
Yeah. Well, two things happen. If it gets picked up, you get notified right away on your app. And if it leaves that virtual boundary that you drew out, it'll immediately sound an alarm on the robot and alert you again on your app. And then you could go into your maps and actually find out if it was your neighbor across the street that took your lawnmower.
Well, that's good to know. And what about battery life? I know with some of these robotic lawnmowers, when it detects it's running low on battery, it'll drive itself back to the base, charge itself up, and continue the job. Is that the same with the Navimow I-Series?
Yeah, 100%. It'll run itself down to about 15% battery and then take itself back to the charging station, get back to 100% and go right where it's left off and finish the task for you.
I mentioned earlier, most of these are super quiet. They're electric based and it's not like a loud gas based lawnmower. Is that the case here as well?
Yeah, we could actually have a robotic mower going back and forth between you and I right now, and we wouldn't hardly ever hear it mowing.
Wouldn't come through on the microphone. Very cool.
No.
As we wrap up, Wayne, how much does the Navimow Series cost, and where is it available? Do you have retail support, or do listeners order it directly online?
Yeah, so we have dealers that are coming on board here in the U.S., and I think right now we have over 100 as we speak today. You know, the price range anywhere from $9.99 to $12.99 in the U.S.
And what's the price differential there? Is it for larger property?
Yeah, so the price differential is, you go from 1/8 of an acre up to 1/4 of an acre.
Okay.
So you're basically just changing the capacity of the mower and the battery.
Got it. And then finally, the best website once again?
us.navimow.com.
Okay, again, that's Navimow. And it is part of the Segway family. Like, seriously, the same company that makes those Segway people movers, as I called them.
Absolutely. So every time we walk into places and we say Segway, everybody thinks of Paul Blart, the mall cop.
Right, that's right. Good visual. Wayne, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the upcoming launch of the X Series. Very exciting. All the best.
Thank you, Mark, for your time. I appreciate it.
A lot more Tech It Out coming right up after this.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. If you're in the market for a new PC, there's never been a more exciting time. Thanks to extremely powerful devices infused with AI, plus longer battery life than we've ever seen before, countless designs like touch and convertibles that can turn a laptop into a tablet by simply bending it. There's stunning OLED displays and super thin and light form factors. As usual, Intel is leading the charge, now with brand new Intel Core Ultra PCs Series 2 laptops that are powering a new generation of portable PCs across more than 20 computer manufacturers. They can deliver much more performance, up to 80% more for gaming compared to last year's machines. Yet, amazingly, consume up to 50% less power to do so. This translates to battery life of more than 20 hours with some applications. By fusing a CPU with a GPU for graphics and a new NPU or neural processing unit, these Intel-powered Windows 11 laptops are capable of delivering better AI experiences through Copilot Plus, including up to 4 times faster image generation compared to last year. Now available, these new Intel Core Ultra Series 2 laptops are branded with a 200V series naming convention to indicate it's a Series 2 model. Intel.com has more. That's Intel.com. If your family is dealing with a whirlwind of schedules, homework, and extracurricular activities, well, you're certainly not alone. And so tech lifestyle expert Carley Knobloch is here with us with a few of her must-have tech ideas to help today's connected families. Hi, Carley. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Mark. It's always so great to be on your show. And yeah, I partnered with a few brands today that I think are really going to help parents out with this crazy time of year.
When I was reading that intro, it certainly is familiar because a lot of my friends were all, running around. We're trying to do so much in the fall, juggling the family. So with screen time being a big concern today, especially among parents when it comes to their kids, are there any healthier alternatives that parents can consider?
Totally. And, if you're a mom like I am or parent like you are, concerned about how screen time is really affecting your kids' eye health and, also affecting my eye health as well. The good news is that more devices like these ones that I have here are available with healthier e-ink, e-paper screens. The average person, Mark, spends a whopping 7 hours a day looking at screens. So e-paper really mimics the look of traditional paper, which reduces eye strain and blue light exposure compared to those backlit LCDs, as you know. And then this tech really helps eliminate that harsh glare, the eye fatigue, the disrupted sleep. So kids can really focus on learning and parents can kind of, be less compromised to deal with the busyness of the season as well. So, it's absolutely something that will provide a lot of peace of mind for parents on behalf of kids, but parents can use them too.
Yeah. good point. So e-ink is the technology. I know they've been in e-readers and things like that. Is this a particular company? And you alluded to the fact that you're on a set right now. I know you're doing TV interviews. I'm going to plug a website where our listeners can actually see some of these products in action. But could you elaborate on what these e-paper screens are?
Yeah, so e-ink is the company, and then e-paper screens is sort of the technology. And you've seen it in Amazon Kindles and the Kobo books.
And they're easier to read outside than a tablet.
100%. And they just don't do all of those negative things to your brain and your eyes. And so if your kids are going to be spending all this time on screens because they're using them now primarily for schoolwork, perhaps when they come home and they need to do some reading, instead of just firing up a backlit tablet, you can have an alternative device that's less taxing on them. For more examples of the different screens, you can go to healthierscreentime.com, and they have all kinds of products that you can take a look at and see what might be right for you and your family.
Easy website to remember, healthierscreentime.com. Love it. And then next up, Carley, any clever finds to make our lives easier at home?
Yes, kids are back in school, parents are busy. Maybe we're not necessarily wanting to think about pest control, but we're all dealing with it at home, especially if it hasn't cooled off in your environment yet. The Zevo flying insect trap really solves this problem, and it's just one less thing to worry about. So it's UV and blue light technology. This is an example where blue light's actually helpful because it attracts and traps those house flies, those fruit flies, and gnats that nobody wants in their house. Plus, these guys are odorless, they're mess-free, they're under $20, and they just plug into the wall. And then for under $35, the Zevo Max traps even more bugs by giving you the power of 2 traps in one. So it's got a larger footprint, but it's doing double the work. And its 5-foot cord lets you bring it to problem areas. So it plugs in, but then you have got 5 feet so that you can move it around. So really cool products. Find out more about it at zevoinsect.com, and you can find these all at mass retailers.
If you've ever seen a microscopic image of these insects, it's nightmare inducing. Don't do it. If you see it online, like 100 times blown up of what a dust mite looks like. Yeah, don't do it. Yeah. So, all right. So zevoinsect.com. And then Carley, you mentioned earlier about school being back in session, and obviously kids are coming and going. What tech could give parents peace of mind?
Well, once the school day is over, parents really want a way to keep an eye on kids at home, even if they are still at work. So Ecobee's Total Security and Savings Bundle can help you do just that. It includes their smart doorbell camera, their smart thermostat premium, and smart sensors, plus 1 year of home monitoring. I love how you can get an alert on your phone when your kids get home, which is instant peace of mind for parents. And you can talk to them through the two-way talk on the doorbell also, so you can make sure that they're getting going on their homework and that they found the snack you left for them, or, just have that little back and forth before they start the rest of their afternoon.
Fun fact, this is the company behind the very first Wi-Fi thermostat, long before Google and Amazon and other folks did it. Ecobee.com for the Total Security and Savings Bundle. A little bit more with Carley Knobloch when we return on Tech It Out, as well as a conversation with Samsung Mobile about new AI-powered devices. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out, everyone. We are chatting with Carley Knobloch, tech lifestyle expert, joining us to talk about some tech ideas to help today's connected parents. With that in mind, I understand you have a solution for signing all of those school forms that many of our listeners are inundated with right now.
Yes, this is the most daunting part of back to school is all the paperwork, the permission slips, the after school programs, the medical forms. I don't know why more of these things aren't online and why they don't make it easier. But with the DocuSign app, you can manage it all effortlessly with just a few taps on your phone or your tablet. You can fill out, sign, and send back documents securely from wherever you are, whether you're emailing them or storing them in the cloud. The whole process is fast. It's simple, and the best part is it's completely free, and you can head to DocuSign.com to download the app or just learn more.
before DocuSign, it was always a 4-step process that was so annoying. You had to print the email, sign it, scan it, and then email it back to the school, so really frustrating. All right. And then as we wrap up, Carley, I understand you have a laptop that you could suggest for the family for the fall.
I do. And this is, great for kids, great for parents, great for anyone. It's well priced. It's lightweight. It's got a long lasting battery, and it's the Asus VivoBook S15. It's got 19 hours of battery life, a sleek metal body with military grade durability. So your kids can drop it and it's going to last. And their OLED screen gives you incredible visuals in any environment, low light or direct light, plus super easy access to AI tools like a dedicated Microsoft Copilot key right there on the keyboard, and the Asus exclusive StoryCube app that helps you manage all your photos, videos, and files with ease. And I know parents are inundated with organizing all of those things as well. So you can find this laptop at Best Buy. It's a good one.
All right. So it's the VivoBook S15 from Asus. I'm talking to you on an Asus laptop right now. And I was at the company's event in Berlin at IFA, where they were showing their next generation laptops powered by AI. So great stuff. Amazing brand. So for all of these items that you've been chatting about, Carley, we didn't mention pricing for some of them. So what's the website for us to see these in action and grab links to buy them and read more about them?
Yeah, for more information on everything I covered, including those links and prices and all of that, you can just head over to inthenews.tv.
All right, inthenews.tv. Carley has been our guest, Carley Knobloch. Thanks so much for your time, Carley. Always great to chat with you.
Thank you, Mark.
Samsung held an event in New York last week to officially unveil new devices ahead of the holiday season, each of which is powered by Galaxy AI. To tell us about the new Galaxy Tab S10 series tablets, the Galaxy S24 FE smartphone, and new Galaxy Watch FE LTE, who better to chat with than Drew Blackard, VP of Mobile Product Management for Samsung Electronics America. Hi, Drew. Good to chat with you again.
Hey, Mark. Good to see you.
At a high level, please share with us the big announcements from last week, starting with the Galaxy Tab S10 series.
Sure. Well, the Galaxy Tab S10 Plus and S10 Ultra are the two products that we announced, and we're really excited about it because it represents the flagship tablet experience from Samsung. And so with that, users will get, powerful new hardware performance, but with that, all of the great Galaxy AI experiences. And in particular, I think, highlights that I could speak to. One is a powerful new processor. And so year over year, consumers will see an improvement in the CPU capability, which is the performance-driven capability, the GPU capability, which is for graphics and gaming, and the NPU, which is what drives AI processing. So consumers overall will get, better AI and gaming experiences. The gaming in particular, again, that GPU is really optimized for optimal performance. So if you're playing intensive games that have higher frame rates, that it'll maintain the frame rates really well. There's also a new expanded vapor chamber, which allows for the cooling of the system. So when you're playing intense games, if you don't have great cooling, it can slow down and lag, which ultimately affects your gaming performance. So you can think of these as the ultimate gaming tablets out there. And then on top of that, for consumers that are just looking for entertainment, whether that be gaming, streaming media, or other, we have a new anti-reflective screen that's incredible for both indoor and outdoor viewing of content. So if you're outside on a sunny day or indoor under an intense light, you'll be able to see the screen really easily without that glare, so that whatever you're doing, whether it's gaming, entertainment, or productivity, it's really a great overall experience.
All right, so you mentioned the NPU, a neural processing unit, which adds now to the CPU, which is, I guess, generally the engine that drives your device's performance, and the GPU right. for graphics, important for gamers, for example. But AI, so that's now integrated into tablets. We'll chat in a moment about the new Galaxy smartphone and smartwatch, but can you tell us a bit more about what you can do with AI on the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra and the S10 Plus?
Sure. I think it starts with just having that larger screen. It's a larger canvas to create with. And so I think some of the things that we focused on is how can you use that large screen and take advantage of Galaxy AI features in a new way. So one that we're really excited about is called Sketch to Image. This allows you to basically do a hand-drawn sketch of any sort, and then with generative AI, create an image out of that. So this is one my kids actually steal my device to use because it's so much fun. But you can do little drawings and doodles, and it turns it into different options of either watercolor, 3D art, or even pop art and things like that. So that one's really fun from a creativity perspective.
Yeah, I tried that on the Galaxy Z Fold device that
exactly.
was unveiled this summer. And that was so fun to use the stylus and draw something with my poor artistic skills and lack thereof. Created this amazing image in a couple of seconds.
You can do it with a tablet. And I think the cool part here is you have that larger screen to take advantage of. So you can really kind of detail out the drawing in a different way. And of course, these devices come with an S Pen and box. So you'll be able to use the S Pen to do a finer drawing of which it'll build off of with a generative capability.
Right.
And so, another one is Circle to Search, which we've announced on our previous devices. So it's on smartphones today, but that allows you to circle anything on the screen that you can see and then immediately get results based on what that is. And so if you see like a food dish, for example, if you're, browsing maybe Instagram and you see a dish that you're really interested in, you forget what it's called, you can do Circle to Search where you long hold the home key and just circle the image, and then it'll give you real-time results of not only what that is, but if there's recipes online that you could make, if there's restaurants nearby that serve that dish. So that's a really cool one, again, that we've had, but the optimized experience for the larger screen tablet form factor really brings it to life in a new way.
That's super convenient. I've also played around with that on mobile phones for sure from Samsung. A few more minutes with Drew Blackard from Samsung Electronics America when we return on Tech It Out to learn more about these new devices and the AI experiences you can expect. Even if you don't think you want or like AI, these are really super powerful and free tools, which we'll hear more about when we return on Tech It Out. Stay with us.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Before we continue on chatting with Drew Blackard from Samsung Electronics America about new devices and the AI tools built into them, just a quick shout out to Visa. We cover cybersecurity a lot on this program and how you can best protect yourself in the digital age, even if you're not super tech savvy. One part of the solution is securely shopping online. And so I'm thrilled about my partnership with Visa on Tech It Out, as they've made some significant investments in fraud prevention over the past 5 years, as much as $10 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B, to support Visa's brand promise to protect the financial information of individuals and businesses. Zero liability means peace of mind when you shop online using your Visa card. There can be no half measures when it comes to cybersecurity, which is why the company takes an aggressive and multi-layered approach to combating the rising threat of malicious software and other threats by well-funded and global criminal enterprises. Read more about Visa and how securing the world's payments is priority one at visa.com/security. That's visa.com/security. Phones, tablets, and watches. Oh my. We are chatting with Drew Blackard, VP of Mobile Product Management for Samsung Electronics America, continuing our chat about Galaxy AI-powered devices, whether it's the new Galaxy Tab S10 series tablets, the S24 FE or Fan Edition smartphone, and the Galaxy Watch FE LTE. We are unpacking some of the AI features, and speaking of which, one more before we move on is called Air Command with AI.
Yeah, I mean, Air Command is driven through the S Pen, and so you actually, can just click the S Pen button, and it brings up different options for AI. So sketch to images in there and/or others. And then we have new features as well that are unique and launching on this product. So within Samsung Notes, for example, because tablets are such great note-taking devices, and because we have that S Pen on board, there's a new AI-driven notes handwriting alignment feature. So it can turn your messy, quick notes into, more polished, refined notes, and it does it in real time as you're writing, which is really cool.
So now let's hear about the new Galaxy S24 FE. I believe that stands for Fan Edition. What makes this new smartphone refresh a worthy device?
Well, I think overall, again, with Galaxy AI, we're bringing all the features that we just talked about down the lineup into our FE edition. So this is our first FE model that launches with Galaxy AI. We did update last year's model with a handful of features. This one will include the full feature set. And part of that's because it has a brand new processor that's super powerful. So, consumers looking for that flagship experience performance will get a new processor year over year. There's also a bigger, brighter screen, bigger, longer lasting battery. And so all of those key essentials that consumers tend to look for in a flagship experience, battery life, amazing screen, great camera, the FE model packs all of that in, but at a really nice value for the consumer. So it's kind of our entry flagship model overall. So we're able to again, take a lot of those great new software features with Galaxy AI and bring them into a more accessible price point.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you in a moment for pricing and availability, what website we can go to learn all that. And I know there's some pretty aggressive trade-in offers as well. But before that, and as we wrap up, there's also the latest Galaxy Watch FE. It's an LTE model, which means it's not just Wi-Fi, but with an optional mobile phone plan, you can take it with you to go, leave your phone behind if you're going for, say, a jog around the neighborhood. So it is designed for those, from what I understand, who want to improve their overall wellness. And if so, how is it achieving this?
Exactly. I think, as you mentioned, the fact that it has LTE is really cool because now you can go for a run, leave your phone at home, and you can still even take a phone call if it comes in over the air.
Or read text messages.
Exactly. It gives you the flexibility to be kind of dialed into the exercise that you're doing without having to be, tethered to a phone at that point. But what we're doing in addition to that is bringing a lot of the Galaxy AI health features that we announced with the Watch 7 and the Watch Ultra down to the FE model. So that's things like energy score, taking a lot of your biometric data over the course of both the day and the night, because we have sleep tracking as well. And it's kind of computing that based on your activity level, as well as how well you slept the night before, and computing energy scores that help you gauge how intensive a workout you're going to be able to do and how much recovery time you need, things like that really help you dial into your own health and performance. It'll have sleep tracking as well, which allows you to really get deeper insights about how you're sleeping and understand things that affect how you're sleeping, so that you can optimize that over time so that you can wake up healthy and ready to go, well slept every day. And on top of that, we're bringing in personalized, actionable tips into Samsung Health, which is the application that you go in to kind of read out all this data. And so it's taking all of the data that you're collecting over the course of the day and using, kind of on the back end, assessing what are the different things that you can do to better optimize these things. So I think all that together makes it a really great way for people who are either interested in more intense workout tracking and, things like, athletes that are tracking runs and bike rides and things like that, or to people who are more generally looking to just get a little bit healthier and tips along the way about how to do that.
Awesome. All right, Drew. We've been chatting with Drew Blackard, VP of Mobile Product Management for Samsung Electronics America. For our listeners who want to read the pricing and availability of these new devices, specifically the Galaxy Tab S10 series tablets, the Galaxy S24 FE Smartphone Fan Edition, and Galaxy Watch FE LTE, what's the best place to learn more?
Well, that's an easy one. You can go to Samsung.com.
All right, Samsung.com. All the pricing is there, the trade-in offers and links and videos and photos and all that. Drew, great to chat with you. Congrats on the announcement and launch of these new devices.
All right, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
I just wrote a pair of 2,000-word articles for USA Today about AI. Do people really want it? Do they understand it? I interviewed people outside of a Best Buy. And so one of the articles looks at the Samsung devices as well as AI PCs and the like. So I'll mention that on the air when those articles are published. When we return on Tech It Out, I will share some small business ideas to help you get a leg up on the competition. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Check It Out whenever you want.
So as I mentioned earlier in the show, I had a lot of fun on Friday of last week in New York at Next Millennium Productions, a studio where I was broadcasting live, doing hits across the country, talking about small business technology as we head into the fall, some tools and technologies to help give your small business an edge. And so I wanted to share a few of those suggestions with you. Some are more techie than others. In fact, I'm going to start with financial services, something that can be a real pain point for many businesses where they want to outsource this instead of trying to tackle it themselves. They want to just focus on their business and not wrestle with things like payroll or bookkeeping. So I would recommend Block Advisors Bookkeeping from H&R Block because it starts at just $39 a month. And that means you don't have to break the bank on professional services. And that's for a self-serve option. But for starting at only $175 a month, you can get a dedicated accountant. That's up to half off typical accountant rates. With Block Advisors Payroll, if you do have some employees, starting at only $59 a month, Block Advisors will give you access to a dedicated accountant, their standard reporting, and guided setup for your single state payroll needs. Now, here's something to help businesses grow. You probably already use Nextdoor. They've been a guest on my show many times over the years. This is that incredibly popular neighborhood-centric social media platform. In fact, 1 in 3 U.S. households are already here. So why isn't your small business? Well, 79% of neighbors said that they're influenced by a business recommendation on Nextdoor, ranking the platform as the #1 place for local recommendations. And here's the real good news. You can claim a free business page on Nextdoor to unlock an instant following and turn your neighbors into customers. Again, it doesn't cost anything and no need to spend time building your followers because your neighbors are already on Nextdoor, as I mentioned. Head on over to business.nextdoor.com to learn more. Next up, small businesses can also benefit from powerful tools to remain productive and competitive and, yes, profitable. And AI can really help here too. Lenovo's new ThinkPad T14S Gen 6 laptop is an industry-leading AI PC with that built-in Copilot Plus and a dedicated button to launch that AI assistant. So you can create images just by typing in a prompt and using that for free, by the way, on your website or marketing materials. You can get help with coding and generate action items from meetings thanks to instant summaries and translations. This PC also delivers extreme power efficiency with true multi-day battery life. Even though battery life may not be the sexiest of features when you're shopping for a new laptop, it's incredibly important. And I can say that as someone who travels quite a bit for work. And finally, that ThinkPad T14S, it's got the lowest carbon footprint in the entire ThinkPad portfolio. I know that's important to a lot of my listeners as it's made from recycled plastics, aluminum, and carbon fiber, and the packaging is also super eco-friendly. For more info on everything I've covered here today, you can visit inthenews.tv. Again, that's inthenews.tv. Or again, you can go to blockadvisors.com, business.nextdoor.com, and lenovo.com as well. But that's just a taste of that small business set of TV interviews I did last Friday. And again, check out that website and you'll see me in action showing these items as well. Before we wrap up another episode of Tech It Out, I wanted to give a shout out to Intel, the title sponsor on this program. Again, now that we're heading into Prime Day in a week or so, and then Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you definitely want to check out these new Intel Core Ultra Series 2 powered laptops that deliver incredible battery life, a ton of power, and awesome AI experiences on device, not necessarily needing the cloud or an internet connection in order to generate images, analyze your text to be a helpful digital assistant privately and securely, and so many other bells and whistles. So look for the 200V series naming convention on Intel Core Ultra PCs so you know it is a new model, regardless of the brand that you like, you know, Asus or Dell, HP, Lenovo, and so on. And speaking of PCs, don't forget to properly back up your important files on a regular basis. At the risk of sounding preachy, it is a terrible feeling to realize everything you've been working on, whether it's for your company or for schoolwork or even something personally, is gone for whatever reason. Something happened, you accidentally deleted it. It's important to back up your important files. I do like the cloud, you know, uploading to the internet, but you're limited on how many files you can store there when you use free accounts. And if you want to pay for more, then they got you. You know, you can't stop paying or else you won't have access to your files. So I prefer local offline storage. More bang for the buck. No internet connection is needed. No monthly subscription service. A ton of data. You can get a 6 terabyte SSD now. So I'm a big fan of Western Digital for external drives, as well as SanDisk for SSD solid state drives, and even, you know, SD cards and USB thumb drives. The point is, it doesn't matter what external media you prefer, but to do something and have it regularly back up. Every night at like 2, 3 in the morning, I have mine automatically back up. Western Digital and SanDisk drives have built-in software that will back it up for you. Head on over to westerndigital.com or sandisk.com and take advantage of sales, especially this time time of year. Hey, thank you for tuning in to Tech It Out, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to catching up with you next weekend for another episode of Tech It Out. Bye-bye for now.